Well, hey, I thought we could start with someone from the Newfoundland Regiment and maybe take calls on what Canada Day also means to us here in Newfoundland and Labrador. The fact that while it is Memorial Day in our province, the fireworks and drunken celebrations of our nation's birthday rage in the background.
Emma.
Then we can play the Valley of Kilbride.
Look.
When did this come in?
Just now.
I'm calling them.
I tried. It's Canada Day. No one's answering.
Don't they understand what this day means to us?
No, they don't know what went on in Beaumont-Hamel during the First World War. We always knew when the station was bought by a mainland company, this is the kind of thing that might start happening.
What am I doing here?
Let's make the best of it, hey? You take a deep breath and get ready to do the show. And I'll go queue up all the Bryan Adams and Michael Bublé I got listed here.
Hello, Newfoundland and Labrador and all ships at sea. Welcome to this very special Canada Day episode of the Kelligrew Soiree. We've got more April wine than a May wedding coming at you today. Let's go to the lines and see how the party is at your end. Lloyd from... Couldn't make out where you're from there, Lloyd. You're on the air.
Woo! Yeah, bro! Chug, chug, chug!
Well, it sounds like someone started early for Canada Day.
Yo, it's Canada Day?
Okay, Esther, line 2. Welcome to the party, my love. How are you today?
Well, not too good, to tell the truth, my ducky. I never rim on this day. Now, I was 8 years old when we got news of what happened in Beaumont-Hamel at the Battle of the Somme. Well, all our best and brightest, cut down by the big Jeasley howitzers.
Sorry, Esther, my love. We're not really talking about the Somme today. Today we're talking about what it means to be a proud Canadian. Hello? Esther? Line 3, Richard O'Byrne. Hi, Richard. Welcome to the party.
Thank you, Emma, though I was hoping to talk about Beaumont-Hamel. Seems that's not the topic of the day, is it?
You know what, Richard? It's fine. Go ahead.
Well, my grandfather was in the trench at St. John's Road. 800 men went over, and he was one of the 68 who answered roll call the next day.
Brave man. Must have been quite the role model for you.
Honestly, I was almost 20 years old before I even knew he served. The man barely spoke. Apparently, before the war, you couldn't shut him up, but after he came home, these scars we carry with us, they have a way of defining us if they aren't dealt with, don't they?
They can, but there's always time.
On a day like today, I can't help think how it was always the forces from the colonies that were on the front lines. In Gallipoli and in France. Welsh Fusiliers, Scottish Highlanders, the Australians. What many don't realize, but the Newfoundland Regiment was in Gallipoli for that disaster as well. They held the lines as the Australians made their retreat. Newfoundlanders took significant casualties. 44 dead, hundreds more struck down by disease. This is the battle the Newfoundland Regiment entered the war with. They fought bravely and successfully covered the retreat of the entire Allied forces. Of course, it was the Australians who took the most significant casualties in that year-long battle. They even had their own day for it, April 25th.
Unlike here, where we share honoring those who fell at Beaumont-Hamel with the nation's birthday.
Rubs some the wrong way, doesn't it?
It does. Stirs up those old colonial feelings, I think.
This is why I could never understand this province's affinity for a man like Winston Churchill. I mean, that disaster at Gallipoli was his idea. Thousands of men dead for no reason whatsoever. He was warned, advised it was a bad plan, doomed to failure, but he went ahead with it anyways. All those men dead. And what did we do? Named a town after him. And a waterfall, a river, a park, a square, even erected a statue.
Seems to be a long history of loving the wrong man in this province.
Certainly does.
Would be nice to get it right for once.
Political decisions seldom consider the little people. If they did, they wouldn't be the first ones out of the trenches. Might be time to change that.
When I was a young man, I carried me pack, and I lived the free life of a rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, Well, I waltzed my Matilda all over. Then in 1915, my country said, son, it's time you stop rambling, there's work to be done. So they gave me a tin hat and they gave me a gun, and they marched me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as the ship pulled away from the quay. And amidst all the cheers, flag waving and tears, we sailed off for Gallipoli. How well I remember that terrible day when our blood stained the sand and the water, and of how in that hell that they call Suvla Bay, we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. Johnny Turkey was ready, he primed himself well. He rained us with bullets and he showered us with shells. And in 5 minutes flat, we were all blown to hell. Nearly blew us back home to Australia. But the band played Waltzing Matilda as we stopped to bury our slain. We buried ours and the Turks buried theirs, and we started all over again. Those who were living just tried to survive in that mad world of blood, death, and fire. And for 10 weary weeks I kept myself alive, while around me the corpses piled higher. Then a big Turkish shell knocked me arse overhead, and when I awoke in my hospital bed and saw what it had done, sure I wished I were dead. Never knew there were worse things than dying. For no more I'll go waltzing Matilda all around the green bush far and free. To hump tent and pegs, a man needs both legs. No more waltzing Matilda for me. They gathered the crippled, the wounded and maimed, and they shipped us back home to Australia. The legless, the armless, the blind, the insane, those proud wounded heroes of Suvla. And when our ship pulled into Circular Quay, I looked at the place where my legs used to be, and thanked Christ there was no one there waiting for me to grieve, to mourn, and to pity. But the band played Waltzing Matilda as they carried us down the gangway. Nobody cheered, they just stood and stared. Then they turned all their faces away. So now every April I sit on me porch and I watch the parade pass before me. And I see my old comrades, how proudly they march, reliving their dreams of past glory. But the old men march slowly, all tired, stiff and sore. The forgotten heroes from a forgotten war. And the young people ask, what are they marching for? And I ask myself the same question. But the band plays Waltzing Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. But year after year, their numbers get fewer. Someday no one will march there at all. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, who'll come waltzing Matilda with me? And their ghosts can be heard as they march by the billabong. Who'll come waltzing Matilda?